Tonight we'll try to make some sense of what was one heck of a week, don't you think? Well, good Friday evening. Welcome to My State of Mind. I am Dan Yorke. I am always honored for your choice to watch the program, and I'm thankful because I'm keep bumping into people that are saying they're watching the show and spread the word. And of course, you see it live here at 7:30, semi-live. You know what I mean. We repeat at 11:30. You can get the show online at foxprovidence.com/myRITV. So there's all sorts of ways. You know, Jess tweets out pictures of the show on the Dan Yorke Show Twitter feed, and she'll probably take one now, smile. So there's all sorts of ways to get a piece of this thing. All right, we got so much going on. Tonight, we've got a political science professor from Providence College. He's a Jersey guy. He's a couple of exits down from where I grew up, but he's... and that's a good thing. When Jersey guys get talking, who knows what's going to happen here, but experts on the presidency. And gosh, we need some expertise on the presidency after this week, don't you think? So let's get to the rundown, because I got a lot of strong things to say tonight about what's going on. Lies are easy. Lies are easy. They're like fastballs right down the middle. We'll have to explain that to the state treasurer. This is an outrage. This is one of the worst decisions in government I have seen around here ever. In Coventry, they are teaching all of Rhode Island a lesson. We'll explain. In addition, this evening, this story is getting out of control. It's not just about political correctness. It's like a bad rumor gone wild. And sometimes, you're mad as hell and you're just not going to take it anymore. We've got great video. And we're down to the wire, heading into the weekend. Bang! Let's get into this and delve in to a couple of stories here. This is going to take me a couple of minutes. Here's the headline in the Providence Journal. Union-financed report blasts Treasurer Raimondo's handling of Rhode Island pension funds. All right, let me explain this to you. So, Council 94, the largest state employee public union here in the state, has hired a guy by the name of Ted Seidel. He is a Forbes blogger and a lawyer and an investment banker and an expert on pensions. And he's kind of an investigative guy. So he's been really chewing up pension investments in general in the United States, and specifically Gina Raimondo, whose reform is so popular nationwide, right? He makes three claims. He says... Number one, that there's been a wealth transfer that's happened here in the state, that the COLA money, that the amount of money that could be used to put raises into pensions for state employees is being sucked up by hedge fund managers. That's his first assertion. Number two, he suggests that there is a secretiveness about the hedge fund business which borders on the illegal. Number three, he suggests that the blind trust that the treasurer has is got some issues. Now, I could go through all the details, and I'm inviting the guy on the program at his earliest convenience to kind of lay all that out. He's paid $20,000 by the union to provide this report. And as soon as that gets out, there's some room to say, oh, you better take it with a grain of salt. No doubt. Here's what the treasurer told Eyewitness News about this big press conference that Mr. Seidel had with the unions yesterday.
This report has been produced by an out-of-town person who's being paid tens of thousands of dollars to take political attacks at me for one reason, because we reform the state's pension system. And we can't go backwards. We reformed that system because we had a system in crisis, and if we didn't fix it, people wouldn't have gotten pensions.
That's not a bad answer. I get that. But it's not going to work, because this guy is making specific allegations. Specific allegations. Today, as I was preparing for my radio show noon to 3, I heard the treasurer on with John DePietro, who precedes me in the lineup, and she said this, it knocked me out of my chair.
They're spending their members' union dues by paying this guy from out of town to tell lies, and what they should be doing is telling the truth and letting their folks know their pension is secure, and it wasn't secure, 4 or 5 years ago.
Very bold to suggest the guy is flat out lying. But that's what makes it easy. See, because lies are the easiest thing to refute. It's like wind it up and throw it down the middle. Boom! Feeling baseball this weekend. deep to left center field. When someone lies about you, all you have to say is, that's a lie, here's what he said, and specifically, here's what's not true. She's not doing that. She's just saying they're out to get me, they're out to get me, they're out to get me. Yeah, they're out to get you. You want to put an end to it? Call out the lies, Treasurer, and end it. Specifically, cleanly, easily. Lies are easy to deal with. It's not easy to deal with what's happening in Providence, in the pool. Cementing the pool. This is a cement head decision. Let me tell you something. Here's the video of the Davy Lopes pool over on Dudley in the South End, a couple of blocks behind Hasbro, in case you're looking for geographic orientation. You might have remembered that Ray Rickman came to my studio to talk about his swimempowerment.org. He's going to try to get 30,000 kids to swim better. And he's been trying to keep this pool open, and it's kind of like a multitasking type of situation. There's been a threat of closing that pool. Well, here's the evidence. Check out this graphic. It's probably a little tough to read, but it gives you a flavor. If you really peer into the screen, you can see that it's a request for proposal from the City of Providence for the pool demolition services. They are going to spend tens of thousands of dollars to cement the pool. I had Ray on the radio show today, and he's been an advocate and a fan of Mayor Taveras all Mayor's political life. No more.
I am not ever going to support Angel for public office again, for any public office. Maybe if he, runs for dog catcher, I don't. Maybe he treats the dogs better than he treats the children of Providence. I have no idea.
I gotta second that. I gotta second that notion. Mayor, I'm going to tell you again, this is as cement-headed and wrong thought out as anything I've ever seen you do. It is awful urban policy. There are councilors who say they can raise the money both in their municipal budgets and in fundraising to keep that pool open. The message to urban kids is that they don't matter. And it's easy to cement the pool in November. You do it in the middle of July, all hell breaks loose. This is a turn away from your own neighborhood. This is the worst kind of policy, and it tells kids they don't matter, and I'm telling you, we're not giving up on this one, on this show or on the radio program. Stay tuned. Doing some thinking over the weekend on how we can battle this one. All right, let's go to Coventry. What a mess down there. Did you see the headline on this? Central Coventry Fire District Board recommends dissolving the fire department. Look, you know what the moral of the story is? As you take a look at the Coventry fire facilities down there in the beautiful town of Coventry, they had like 7 fire districts at one point, and they consolidated to 4. And there's this notion in Rhode Island that we need to consolidate because it's going to save money. I will remind you once again that the devil is in the details. How you consolidate has as much to do with financial success for the taxpayer, or in this case, the bill payer, than the concept of consolidation itself. So however this turns out, remember this, the consolidation they did in Coventry actually cost them more dough, a bunch of more dough, because of undisciplined labor deals. You got to make sure you watch your P's and Q's, and just the concept of consolidation ain't going to fly. Stay tuned to that particular story. On another note, as we kind of head into the more wacky world, the sports world and the NFL are beginning to deal with a very, very difficult business problem, never mind a morals conversation. And it's gotten a little crazy. Here's the latest cartoon editorial in the New York Daily News last week. On the left is the Nazi swastika, in the middle is the Confederate flag, and next to it is the Redskins team branded logo. The point being that they're all kind of joined in the same family. I'll tell you, this is outrageous, outrageous. And then the Richmond, Virginia newspaper, in the market for the Washington Redskins, writes the following. The Richmond Free Press is expunging the nickname of the Washington professional football team, meaning not the Redskins, from its news and editorial columns. The reason the nickname is insulting to Native Americans, it's racist and divisive, plus it promotes the spreading ugly Tea Party mentality that's growing in Virginia and the nation's capital. Where did they get that from? We were talking about it prior to the program. Jess was saying, how did they get there from here? Rex was saying, I don't know how they got from that to the Tea Party. The Tea Party takes enough heat. But look, this is ridiculous. Understand something. The latest poll that was ever done had 81% of Native Americans thinking it was no big deal. And secondly, the Redskin name is not about complexion and ethnicity. It's about red face paint. It's a European term about the warrior Native Americans who wore red face paint. Enough of this nonsense. But you know what? This one may be out of control. We'll have to watch it. What else did I have here today? Speaking of out of control, you know, sometimes you're mad as hell and you just can't take it anymore. She works in the barrel of that Washington mess, and the stress of the shutdown and the stress of the debt ceiling got to this stenographer. She lost her cookies.
This is not one nation under God. It never was. Had it been, it would not have been. No. It would not have been. Constitution would not have been written by Freemasons. They go against God. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. Praise be to God, Lord Jesus Christ.
I just want to say, you had a bad day. That's really all there's left to say. 3 games to 2. Here's what I'm thinking. I'd like to see the Sox win because I know you'd like to see the Sox win, and I like to be a good neighbor, even though I'm a Yankee fan. But if you don't want to admit that you don't want to see Verlander and Lackey go Game 7 on Sunday night, then you're fibbing to me. I want to see them win, but I want to see the Game 7 drama. You're playing with fire when you lose Game 6, but boy, it'd be exciting Sunday night. When we come back, our professor from PC. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, let's get into it. Our professor of political science from Providence College and a fellow Jersey guy. Exit what?
131 or 10 if you're talking Turnpike.
Okay, well, you know, Turnpike, oh no, I mean 153B on the Parkway, and what's the Meadowlands? It's 11. No, it's 12. No, it's 13. Oh my gosh.
You've been away from Jersey
Oh
too
my
long.
gosh, Joe, this is killing me. Dr. Joseph Camarano is my guest. He is a political science professor at PC and an expert on all things presidential and otherwise. At least you tell your students that, that's for sure, right?
No. Tell them they're as smart as I am. I'm just older. Today,
let's spend a little bit of time as we're post-shutdown and we're post-debt ceiling crisis. Since you talk a lot about the presidency, last night I did a little ditty on this. We didn't have time to play the audio, but the president offered the most depressing post-epilogue yesterday morning when he spent 4 minutes just laying out all that was problematic about this thing politically, oppositionally, worldwide view. Why couldn't he just say, you know what? Whew. Let's reach out, touch each other, and fix this thing.
Yeah, you and I saw 2 different things. I thought the president was...
All right, we'll get off the show.
Exactly right. The reality is, this was not just embarrassing, but potentially destructive of our reputation and our position in the world. That if we do this, but if we do this, we've been doing it for 40 years almost now. And so it's like a guy who sort of has a hangover one day and then goes out and drinks and has it another day. And think about drinking and having a hangover for 40 years. That's where we are right now. Since the 70s, things have gone haywire. And after 40 years of drinking hard every night, you no longer just have a drinking problem. Your body's breaking down. That's what's happening to our system. So regardless of what you think about the president, he's right.
He's right about what?
This system is in danger of collapse.
The monetary system, the political system?
Yes and yes.
We get that, but we need solutions to rethink it, to rebuild it.
Well, I'm not sure you do get it. Not you, but I'm not sure we do get it. I think we still vote the candidate, not the party.
You don't think that I don't get it.
We still allow these bozos on both sides to sort of be narcissistic in the way they behave. And the cost is people in Europe who don't have our kind of system, which is a very fragmented system that was designed not to do anything, are going, what in the world is going on? Why are we going to follow these people? Why are we going to listen to them? And this is dire. I mean, 5 years, the euro might be the reserve currency, and that's disastrous for us.
Well, mights, could-bes, would-bes. What I'm thinking here is that while no one can deny this dysfunctionality and this breakdown and the crisis of it, because I think everyone's got that hangover, other than Ted Cruz, who said today that he'd go for another government shutdown.
He's still figuratively drunk.
It's like, Ted, hello.
Yeah.
I think the Republicans overplayed their hand. They brought it to the end of the shutdown. Harry Reid called their bluff. They should have folded their tent and thought about the way you really reform, and that is elections, correct? 2014, 2016.
That's
you agree
exactly.
with me on that?
That's the first step we have to take. We have to start understanding that an election makes a decision, and we do not try to undermine that election decision, because we're essentially saying we don't care what the American voter does, and we're supposed to run our own government. And so if we try to undermine elections, we're going to destroy ourselves, and people are going to laugh at us constantly, and that's going to mean we're going to pay higher interest rates, we're not going to be able to borrow as much money, and we're not going to be able to have anything that we have now anywhere near the scale. I mean, do we really want to be Great Britain in the 1950s?
But here's the thing, though. Do we? Well, when we come back, we'll talk about, do we really want to be debt-ridden to the point where we choke ourselves anyway? Someone's got to yell fire in a crowded theater. I just don't know how you do it. We'll talk to the professor about that when we come back. Stay with us. Hey, forget the rest of the show. Joe and I are just going to talk about our Jersey roots. We know everybody who went everywhere. But you know what? I didn't realize I brought a bleeding heart liberal professor into this campus. I mean, into this campus? What?
You actually
You and I are going to be fast friends. We're going to agree on nothing, but we're going to get a lot of debate done here.
The reality is, regardless of what my views are politically, I follow facts, and wherever the facts bring us, not all sides are equal. And in this case, I think you're wrong about the president.
Well, the president listed all the facts. I'm not disputing the facts. I'm thinking that the way you lead out of this morass is by being a little bit more amiable to the knuckleheads that brought you there.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to beat them into submission for 2014 to ultimately save Obamacare, which I think is what this is all about, I get the tactic, but I'm not so sure it's great for the country. Now, you have your own thought on Obamacare.
Well, let me talk as sort of an academic without politics involved. There is a problem that we have now between politics and governing. There used to be, when we were in college, that you have elections, you get elected, and then you do your job, and then every few years you go up for re-election. What's happened now is the people who are in office don't understand there's a difference between actually, calling each other names, which is politics, so that you can get elected, and then doing the job that helps human beings who voted you into office, which is governance. And there's no difference anymore. And that's the problem.
Now I feel like I'm in class, and actually this is why
God forbid.
Well, no. Now I would say pay the tuition, because that is you're absolutely right. It's a very deep conversation in a lot of ways, but I want even a Clinton-esque, if not Reagan-esque, approach to making this thing better, and we're not getting it from this president.
You're
Are you going
right.
to give me that much at least?
This is where we agree. Obama never should have been president, but he is. And the reason he is because of our system that allows rookies to have positions of power. And that's what the problem with Ted Cruz is. That's the problem with Obama has been. He's learning, but he's learning on the job. We don't have a president who learns on the job. I'd rather have George H.W. Bush any day because of his experience.
I don't even know where to go with this. This is erratically brilliant. Seriously, it's not often that I'm get stumped. But you mentioned to me during the break that we got to get over Obamacare.
Yeah,
it's done.
It's over. It's done.
Listen, I think that the functionality problems we've seen already, which, by the way, the Republicans so dopey, if they weren't so ridiculous with the shutdown and the debt ceiling, the mess that was the startup of the enrollment period would have been so front and center, it would have given America great pause. I still think they're going to pause over 2014, and I still think that the congressional elections and maybe 2016 might start to redent and reverse some of the trends that will go on with Obamacare. You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think you're right. It was kind of embarrassing, but it got hidden by the more embarrassing thing.
Correct.
And the problem is that it's so close to us, we think that that's going to be important in a year. The rollout is going to be irrelevant in a year. In a year, it's going to be how many people are on it, what's happening in trends, what are the costs.
It's going to be how many young people are going to buy into it, or the system's not going to make it.
Well, it's going to be whether the system actually looks like it's stable. not whether young people bought in
Do
yet.
you predict stability?
No, not necessarily, but I'm not necessarily predicting instability. All I know is the healthcare system has been a mess for 20 years. And this is not necessarily the worst mess it's been in.
All right. You'll accept my multiple invitations to come back, won't you?
Sure.
Jersey guys, get along. My State of Mind, now yours when we come back. Stay with us. You know, we're kidding here behind the scenes about Dr. Joseph Camarano and his suggestion the president should never have been elected. If that doesn't cause you to react here on Your State of Mind, I don't know what does. From the Facebook page, here is one reaction regarding the week that it was. Chris says, are they going to fix it, or are we going to be in the same situation in January? We're going to be in the same situation in January. You know that. But this time around, I don't think the Republicans can push it the way they did. The fait accompli that Obamacare is going to be the law of the land forevermore that the professor suggested may not also be the case. So the great thing about being on the planet and living every day is that you can never predict the future. But I can predict that you've got a place here on Your State of Mind. All you got to do is leave me a voicemail at 228-1886. When I hear your voice, or when the crew does, you'll end up on the air. Email me at stateofmind@myritv.com. And of course, if you tweet at me, we tweet at you at Dan Yorke Show, Facebook, post, whatever you'd like to do. You'll have a voice right here on the broadcast. That's the week that it was. Who am I, Cronkite? I got to get out of here. It's Friday night. Have a great weekend. Game 7 would be fun. It would. I'll talk to you on Monday, 7:30 on myRITV. Thanks for watching. Good night.